Well, hello there. It's time for the Q&A answer session. As you know, a couple of days ago, I posted a video about my channel arriving the 1,000 subscriber landmark, and I offered you the chance to ask me whatever you want, so I could answer it in a video with some gameplay in the background. And well, I've received some quite a lot of questions, so let's go with them. Let's see. The James the 13. Congratulations, Ron JP. Awesome John with the first edition of the game. Thank you. Now, to argue with Jingles about everything. Lol. Well, actually, Jingles has a very, very, very World of Tanks opinion about the game. He expects War Thunder to be very similar to War Thunder, to World of Tanks. I don't think it's going to be that way. I think War Thunder is going to be very different. So yes, I think we'll have the chance to argue a lot. I love both of your channels, and collaboration between the two of you would be awesome. Also, you can teach Jingles about energy fighting. He needs all help. Well, I can tell you, I have actually contacted Jingles in the game a couple of times. We have chatted a bit. Very friendly guy, very nice guy when he has time, because I know he's always bothered with a lot of subscribers asking him things and stuff. I also actually offered him to fly with me for a couple of games and get it in a video, but for several reasons that has never happened. So I don't know. I have reached that point when I really don't want to ask him anymore, because I know he has so many subscribers and he's so bothered with every one of them trying to contact him in game that I don't want to be a pest for him. If he ever wants to fly with me, I'll be just too happy to do so. As for teaching Jingles about energy fighting, the problem is that he doesn't enjoy it. You can see by it in his videos. All the times he tries to boom and thumb or energy fight, he simply runs out of patience and starts turning. So, and besides, I don't think I have to teach anyone to fly the game. I mean, he's doing very well the way he's doing. If he wants to learn some tactics, of course, I'd be too happy to show him. But I'm not going to force anyone to fly any way they don't want to. Second question, Hodoro Batran. Question. Due to some changes, DM or FM, are you going to do again some of your plane analysis? I mean, some planes feel like they act differently after the patch. Arcade, because I'm a beginner. Certainly, yes. Yes, there are some planes that need a second review. The Zeros need another review because they got and we'll talk about this later in the same Q&A session. The Zeros need a second review. The P4 is a second review. Probably the Folgoren is a second review. There are several planes that need it, so yes, definitely yes, I'm going to revisit some of them. SJB Limbo, I hope I said that well. Which planes are Angle, Energy, and Boom and Zoom? Well, to know that, I actually talk about this in another video, but no worries, I'll answer it as well here. To know which planes are Angle, Energy, or Boom and Zoom, you can do a couple of things. First of all, look here for the plane analysis if it's up. And second, you can go for the Wikipedia. I know Wikipedia is not a reliable source of information for plane performances to the point, but you can see the general statistics. If a given plane is very light and has a very big wing area, it's a turn fighter, it's an angle fighters. If it has a very powerful engine and it's very light, it's going to be an energy fighter. And if it's very heavy for its wing and doesn't really have a very high power loading comparing for its weight, it's going to be a boom and thumb plane. Basically, that's the guidelines. There's more into it, but as a rough estimation, that's the way it's going to be. Real Sis 1. Ram, do you think Gaijin will go back to the 1.927 or stay with the hotfix? I could actually efficiently kill things with the BF-109 MG-101. Seems pleasant tougher, or I'm shooting there with Nerf gun. I couldn't really tell the difference between the ammo since I'm shooting at a concrete slab. I really hope and they do something to fix it. Yes, I do think they go back to that. In the Q&A question session with the developers, of course, this was one of the questions, and their answer was that the damage mechanisms, as released in 1.29, they had some bugs into it, and they had to put a hotfix to dampen the effects of the damage mechanisms until those bugs are ironed out. But eventually, the mechanisms will be back. Maybe not as harshly as they were in 1.29 as released. Maybe in a more dampened version, but yes, certainly you are going to notice when you play is damaged. As for the shooting a lot into concrete planes, yes, sometimes it happens to me as well. Sometimes I simply shoot up a load of bullets into an enemy and it simply doesn't go down. Well, I think it's all down to, yes, a hotfix that caused a lot of. Basically, with the hotfix, you could get aerodynamic kill. You could hit him so bad that he will go against the ground because of damage. Now again you have to kill the plane in the air, basically structural damage or kill the engine and set it on fire, whatever. But I'm sure that after they iron out the bugs and the damage mechanisms are back, things will go back to how they were. Another question from Tennis Guy 696. Did you notice how badly they butchered the Zero? His roll was terrible in 1.29. A light airframe mixed with a powerful engine soon end with a sluggish and almost unbearable roll rate. I'm so disappointed. What's happening? First of all, roll rates have nothing to do with light planes or heavy planes. Actually, light planes have it worse at rolling. I'll try to be brief about it. A plane's roll rate is given by its wing shape, its wing area. The less wing area, the better roll rate. The aileron effectivity and the wing stiffness. If you have a very light wing at very high speeds and you try to roll, the wing is going to twist. It's going to change shape, and a lot of the energy you spend in moving the ailerons is going towards twisting the wing and not actually rolling the plane. Planes with very stiff wings rolled very well. Planes with very light wings didn't roll well. The Zero had a very light wing, and at high speeds it simply cemented the ailerons. At slow speeds they didn't roll very well at all. I'm talking about official performance charts in roll rates, where the Zero was the worst or second worst of all the planes compared. So I know the impression is that they butchered the Zero. No, they fixed it. They brought down to historical levels, just as they are doing the same with all the other planes in the plane set. I can see where you are coming from, because before the Zero was a very easy plane to do with, and now it's a little bit harder. But if you take roll in account, your lack of roll, and you set your maneuvers so you don't depend on roll a lot, the Zero is still a monster. I can tell you that I have flown it with it a lot since 1.29 went out, and their turn rate is still there. They turn very well. You just have to be careful not to be forced to roll a lot. Of course, the enemy, if he knows that, is going to roll all the time and change directions, but that's the nature of air combat. Planes with better statistics in one side try to use them to shake off enemies who aren't that good as them in that. For instance, the Focke-Wulf 190 used just that versus the Spitfire. The Spitfire was another notable bad roller at high speeds. So Focke-Wulf 190 with a Spitfire in their back, they only had to roll one side and pull, and when the Spitfire was following them, to roll opposite and pull to the other side. The Spitfire couldn't follow, and the 190 was gone. So they are implementing all of this in the game, and they are not butchering the planes. They simply are putting them where they should be. Just adjust to it. The Zero is still a very powerful plane. You can do very well in it, believe me. Just, I mean, the only thing I can tell is adapt to it. Sorry. One Laffy. Do you think that the marshmallow gun MG151 will be ever become good? I can tell you. I think that even after the hotfix, the 151 is going to is much better than before, much better. I'm having a lot of success with it and the Focke-Wulf 190 that I didn't have before the patch. The 109 I haven't tried as much, but still I think it hits much harder. The problem is with the damage mechanisms that with the rollback now the damage model seems a little bit borked. But don't worry, as I said, it's going to come back to what it was before, and I think the gun actually performs much better now than before. Matian86, what do you seem to you do? And the question is what you seem to do fairly well in flying since 1.29 came out. For me, it feels like I need to relearn how to fly. I'm aiming once more. Before, no problem with aiming, and I could get nice kill scores with lots of single effort if I started in a fighter. Now I have serious problems. Yes, well, I know there have been changes in the way mouse controls work in arcade in the new patch. Maybe I adjusted very fast. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't have any problems I didn't have before with aiming. Maybe the problem is that you are trying some planes that got a fixed flight model and you're having more trouble because they feel less stable now. Maybe it's the mouse controls being changed. Eventually you'll get the hand on it and you'll do as well as you were doing before. I mean, as for me, I can't really say because I think for the third format I was actually already used to the new mouse controls where you bank more than you rather turn. So I don't really know. As for the reason why I do well, yes, I guess I adapt fast. I don't really know. Is JB Limbo again? What ammo is better for planes? High explosive incendiary or AP? It's not as easy as that. Let's see. High explosive is going. Oh, sorry. High explosive is going to be much better for light planes, for small planes, for fighters. AP is going to be much better versus tanks, ground vehicles, anti-aircraft guns, ground attack, but also for some very tough planes. For instance, you'd rather want armor piercing than HP or HE for killing an Sturmovik and IL-2 because that plane is very well armored. As a rule of thumb for planes, go for high explosive, but don't get surprised if some very big target, such as a B-17, or a very well armored target, such as the IL-2, stands a lot of damage, because it's normal, okay? Foxu, did anyone ask about the placeholder broken damage model or the jacks, lag, and so on, which has been discussed in the forums? I'm not sure which planes it extends to, but it seems to be a problem with a lot of Soviet planes. I guess you are referring to the questions and answers sessions with the developers. Yes, it was asked, and yes, the answer was that the Russian planes were done by a whole different developer team. That they are getting slowly access to each one of the flight models of the Soviet planes, and they are fixing them. Same with the damage models. So yes, they are aware that there might be some problems with the Soviet planes because they didn't do them, basically. So they are reviewing them. So just wait for things to develop. Eventually they'll get fixed. Annihilator C Zeta. Do you have an idea how many planes an average 6 took down? I'm sure the game will have to be adjusted so planes don't dominate everything. It certainly will be a different experience, but I'm looking forward to it. Well, I'm totally expecting it. I really want to be able to command a battleship or a destroyer or a cruiser. Air combat simulation is my first and favorite computer video game, but naval simulations are the second. And tanks are the third. So basically War Thunder is bringing everything that I want into life, so that's cool. As for the how many planes and average it took down, depended a lot. In the early war days, it wasn't easy to bring planes down. And depends on the nation, it became easier in the late war. Why? Because in the late war, British and US ships used time proximity fuses, and what that mean was that each shell thrown or lobbed against the plane had a time fuse to explode again after a while, and also had a proximity fuse activated by a small radar in the nose shell. So if the shell passed near a plane, the proximity fuse will activate and explode, and they were super dangerous to plane. And American and British plane were able to bring down a lot of enemy fighters and bombers with anti-air guns in the closing stages of the war. German and Italian ships and Russians didn't have it. They just had contact fuses and time fuses. So if a shell didn't actually hit an enemy plane or didn't explode by time just beside a plane, it wouldn't go off. So there were a lot of instances of rounds just passing behind besides a plane and not exploding. Those should be a little bit worse at killing planes. GRMLS Gaming. Wow. Can I say only replay for the video contest or more if I have to say 2-3, which I think I could? I'll talk about this more in future videos. You can send top 2. I mean, you can send one, and after a while, if you think you have a better one, you can send me another one. But I'm only accepting 2 videos per player. So 2 videos are the top. Is Yard 3001. What ammo loadout do you prefer for the cannon arm and Spitfires? I'm not sure if omnipurpose or stealth is more effective. Well, for Spitfires are basically going to turn and turn fight a lot. And if you are turning against an enemy, stealth ammo load doesn't make any sense because the guy already knows you are there. Stealth ammo is good for people not realizing you are there and fighting at them. So I don't go for stealth for turn fighters and enemy fighters such as the Spitfire. I go with omnipurpose. As for the WWII, it has one more HCI cell. Has more high explosive relative to the content of the belt. Hispano cannons are in the Spitfires, in the F4U1C, in the Boomerang, in P38s. There are in a lot of planes, and all of them share the same ammunitions. So I usually go with omnipurpose for them, unless it's a boom and zoomer, and then I go with stealth. German. Do you squad up with fans like Crab does? Are you not really into that? Well, I squad up a lot with subscribers. The thing is, I get approached a lot into the game to squad up and fly a bit in squads. The problem with that is that, well, let's say I'm one of those guys who, even if he's not in front of his computer, he has the computer running with the game app. There's a lot of times when I'm AFK. Then again, there are a lot of times where I'm rendering or uploading a video. And while I'm rendering and uploading videos, I can fly, because when I'm rendering, the computer slows down a lot and I get crappy frames per second. And when I'm uploading, I don't have the connection to bear with that. I get bad connection messages and I simply can't fly. So that's another problem. So my flight time really is not that big in a day. I don't fly that much. As for flying with subscribers, when I have time and when I'm flying and when I'm just having fun, yes, of course I do it, and I do it a lot. So yes, I plan to do it because I already do that. Ex Marcus Maximus. Are you planning to do any sort of fly with subscribers events? And what is your favorite food? Yes, I want to do an event to fly with subscribers. Yes, I do want that. The problem is that with the I mean, you can only have 4 people in a squad, and one of them is going to be me, and then another 3. So if I do an event as such, so this day I'm going to fly with subscribers, contact me, I'll get, I don't know, maybe 20 requests, and I only can fly with 3. That's not really, I mean, it's not fair to the other 17 that are left out. Maybe I can do one round with each group of people. I really want to think about it, and yes, I really want to do those events, but I'm figuring out how to properly do them, because I don't want to be to I don't want anyone to be left out. Basically, I want anyone who wants to fly with me to fly with me, and also there are considerations with levels and stuff, because people probably, I mean, not everyone is going to have a level 19 German fighter, so we have to get same levels, same. You get the idea. So yes, I'm planning to do those, but I really want to figure out how to do it well. As for my favorite food, well, oh, difficult. Difficult. My girlfriend's pasta is amazing. I have never tasted a better lasagna than what she does. I would say that. Basically, I like anything that has either pasta or meat on it. I'm a carnivore. I really enjoy eating meat. I like vegetables as well, and I don't like fish. So basically, my favorite food would be meat, and my girlfriend's lasagna. Um, and the Master 3. Is there any way to play the American different from the only boom and zoom? Yes, you can. In some fighters, there are some from planes that you can't because they aren't turn fighters. The P-47 you can't. The P-51 you can't. The P-30, the King Cobras and Era Cobras, you really can't. I see a lot of people trying to, but they don't turn that well. But if you think about the naval planes, the F-4F, the Buffalo, the F-6F, and to a point the Corsair, to a point, they actually can be very good turn fighters. Especially the F-4F is an amazing turn fighter. So yes, there are several planes in the US line that you can turn with. Another VLAX. It's been I'm being a viewer for some time now, and I'm always wondering what's your keyboard setup. Of course, you're using mouse aimer, but you're using WWII as thrust control or pitch control, shooter or classic. Well, I know this is going to surprise a lot of people, because most of the people use WNS as up and down. I use control and shift as up and down, and WNS as throttle. I think that's shooter controls. As for the why, I don't really know, because, well, basically it's more useful for me in some senses. I don't really know why, but I tried both when I started, and I become used to this one, and this is the one I use. So I use A and D for rolling, WNS for throttle up and throttle down, and shift and control for pitch up and pitch down, and of course Q and A for rudders. Tommy V711. About the boomerang game I put up. Is this your best game so far? Very well executed. Respect. No, it's not the best game I have ever had. I've had a 19 kill no deaths with a Focus 185, which was probably my best game ever. But that was probably the best one I recorded, because I don't know why. Well, I know why. I don't record every battle I'm going to, because I don't have the hard disk space for all the videos, and I mean they take a lot of space in the hard drive, and I don't have the hard drive to record a lot. So there are a lot of very amazing battles I have flown that I simply didn't record. And other times what happens is that the story, I don't know why, it simply gives me the finger and doesn't record. So, well, no, it's not the best game I've ever had. No, I have better than those. Oh, by the way, only 11 grand for 14 planes sold down without premium. What the fuck? Yes, economy. I talked about this in other videos. Don't worry about that. Economy is just a part of the game. Gaijin is trying to fix and balance, and they do need to do a lot of changes along the time to properly reach a balance. And right now, the balance doesn't exist, which means Gaijin is going to fix it. So don't worry about it a lot. I know that 14 planes and 11,000 without a premium. With a premium, of course, I had a lot more money, but without a premium, it's very few. But don't worry, I'm sure it will going to get better. 707 Kid 95. How do you switch the cannon on mid-flight but keep firing the MGs and then turn on again when you full wanted them? Oh yes, this is about the boomerang video as well. Well, you can bind the weapons to the keys you want. You can go into the menu, keyboards, and bind the key you want to the action you want to fully customize your controls. I didn't change anything, so it's 1 for machine guns, 2 for cannons, 3 for space. I also use space for bombs and for rockets, for an air. R also fire rockets, but 1 is for machine guns, 2 is for the cannons. And the fire mouse fires both. So if you can't, you can fly and fight and fire selectively what you want to fire. If you want to fire only cannons, you can fire only cannons. If you want to fire only machine guns, you can fire only machine guns. It's not as if I'm switching on and off the cannons. I'm simply using the proper ammunition that I want. In the part of the video you saw that the thing was that I had a bandit which was running away from me, and I wanted to scare him a bit to force him to avoid and maneuver a bit so he would slow down. So I just fired machine gun to scare him a bit, and when he was close enough for me to get a decent shot, I fired cannons. So next question in line, Dr. File. I don't know if I pronounced it well. Fail, I don't know. Well, Round JP, the interaction with the customer is truly nice with Cayenne. I also like the whole gameplay aspects, and they are truly airplane fanatics. My biggest reason for doubt with them is all the money things they really implemented in this beta. You can test it and you pay for it with real money. I grabbed a lot on the forums about the economy of 1.29, but just because I hate to see them were gaming it up. Let's try. I don't really know how to put it because I have my own opinion about it. I'll try to state it because, well, it's hard for me to put it on words. Yes, there are money things, and this is a beta. And I see where the conflicts come from. Well, if it's a beta, I shouldn't be paying, right? But, well, let's see. As I already know, because I have mentioned it a lot in my videos, I have a very long past in the online gaming communities. And the problem with publishers, game developers have to develop a game. And while they are developing the game, they earn no money. So what they do is to go to a publisher and they say, hey, I'm getting this game ready, and I want you to give me the money to be able to do so, because game development needs money. And the publisher says, oh yes, of course, I give you some money to develop the game, and so you can eat when you go home and you can earn money while you are developing the game, but I own the right of the game. So basically, in the end, I say, when you are putting it in the market, how much you are going to support it, and for how long you are going to support it. So in the end, what means is that the developer team, usually 99% of the times, is forced to release their product before it's finished, and there are a lot of bugs with it. A perfect instance of this, I don't know if any of you have played the Silent Hunter series, Silent Hunter 3, 4, and 5. They were developed by different teams, all of them very good. I can tell that because the games were very good. But as on release, they were simply unfinished. They were incomplete. They were with a lot of things they would have gotten. They were buggy as hell, with not working tools, with buggy tools. They were basically unplayable to a point. And why was that? Because all of those developers were hired by Ubisoft, which was the publisher, and Ubisoft said, you are going to release this game in this data. And you're not moving it backwards in time because you have to solve things. You are releasing it at that time, and that's all. And you release it in whatever state it's at. And in the end, we, as customers, what we got were unfinished products, which got better with patches, but there were never more than 2, 3, or 4 patches with each game. For games that could have been awesome with the proper support, but they never got it because Ubisoft stopped supporting the game after a while. So, well, allow me to interrupt the Q&A session for a while because I want you to see the Moron of the Week award of this week. Or the prick of the week, or the douchebag of the week, or the idiot of the week. Well, you can see I type here for this attack plane, which is coming for our targets. I empty my cannon loadout, so I dive and keep on shooting him from time to time with machine guns just to keep him worried. But I've been on his 6 for a long time, so I drop my altitude, I'm coming on him. By enemies, this guy, I have the priority on him. I'm killing him, shooting, but the prick behind me doesn't give a shit. I'm in the middle of his sights and keeps firing and doesn't care about killing me or not. Ladies and gentlemen, Themas, the Retard of the Week award winner, which in the chat later you'll see exactly up to which point he was a retard. He didn't even say, hey, sorry mate. But well, now thanks to his amazing actions and his excellent game skills and his incredible respect for other fellow team players, now he's famous in YouTube. Congratulations, mate. You've won the Prick of the Week award. Well, back to the Q&A and back to what we were discussing and debating. I was saying that Ubisoft, well, just forced the Silent Hunter developer teams to rush their products and release an unfinished product. And this has happened a lot with a lot of different publishers in this history of gaming. A lot of developer teams have had to publish an amazing job, an incredible game, when it simply wasn't finished. I can say that one of the first instances of this I ever found was a game called Frontier, which was the second part of Elite, David Braben's space simulator. Frontier was an amazing game. It was one of the best things I have ever seen in a computer, and I still play it from time to time in my laptop with a DOS emulator and stuff. That game, as released, was a work of love, an amazing game that was full of bugs because the publisher just demanded Braben to release the game in an unfinished state, and the game flopped badly. Later he released the full version, which was called Frontier First Encounter, and that game was a joy. So Gaijin Entertainment is a developer team, it's a developer software company, and they are working on War Thunder, and they are not releasing it under any kind of publisher. And of course that means that they have to eat and they have to get some kind of income while they are developing the game. Otherwise they wouldn't. They would move on to jobs that would make them money in the meantime. But the good part about it is that they are not forced by anyone else to do things with the game they don't want to. And for me that's a pretty big deal. So if the price for a developer team to do whatever they want with their game and not what someone else publishing the game tells them to do, for me, if the price for that is paying some money for Lions, I'm going to do that. I have no problems. Of course, I can understand people who say, if this is a beta, I shouldn't have to pay. I understand, I respect that opinion, and I perfectly see where you are coming from. I mean, I don't share it because I know what happens when money is not incoming into a game developer. They go for a publisher, and then the publisher fucks the thing totally. As for the money sinks implemented in beta, well, if you think about it, there are not a lot of money sinks in War Thunder. Let's recap a bit. Let's go back and let's see what other free-to-play games have. The biggest one right now, I think is World of Tanks. Let's see. In World of Tanks, for instance, you have to sink. Gold is a money sink for money. You can exchange gold for silver. Premium tanks, which cost a lot. A premium tank in World of Tanks can cost 50 euros. A premium plane in War Thunder usually is around 1,000 and a little bit Lions, which is much cheaper than that. Third, premium ammunition, which is, well, they changed it. Now you can purchase it with silver, and it's even worse. But premium ammunition is a big money sink. Premium consumables, which is a very big thing. Crew development. This is a huge money sink, and one I know most people fall for. When you get a tank and you move on for the next tank, you have to retrain the crew, and unless you spend money on them, they are going to lose a lot of efficiency. And you need either a premium tank, gold, or spending gold in the retraining, more gold, to put them on 100% again. So that's a huge money sink. Crew retrain for perks. If you want to reset the perks of your crew, you have to use gold for that. Another money sink. There are huge, and of course, premium time costs you gold. There are a lot of money sinks in the game. A lot. In all games like this, free to play, there are a huge lot of money sinks. But, well, I don't think in War Thunder there are a lot of them. Of course, you can spend Lions for retraining, training crew to increase its experience, but you don't have to retrain them for its plane you fly. Once you have trained them with Lions to fly in the next plane, they fly it at 100%. They don't fly it at 80%, and you have to spend Lions or gold to bring it up to 100%. And even then, when you have trained your crew for the next plane, you still can use it on your previous planes. You don't have to buy a new crew and train it again. So that means less silver or Lions here. When in World of Tank, if you want to play a previous tank you have to train a new crew, and a lot of people put gold into that as well. I know it because I have done it myself. So you can, of course, spend it of money. You can spend it of premium planes. You can spend it of premium time, but that's mostly it. There are not many money sinks in War Thunder. So I mean, I'm alright with the way they are doing things right now. I know the economy is broken, and they know the economy is broken, and they are fixing it. So it's not a big deal for me right now. As for the future, well, I doubt they are going to Wargaming it up, just because they treat people with respect, something that Wargaming has never done. And they try to answer the questions. They try to be amiable. So no, I highly doubt they are going to Wargame it up. So, well, as I say, I understand where you are coming from, but I don't think so. So, well, this is it for today's Q&A video. Thanks a lot for the questions. Thanks a lot for the support. Thanks a lot for the congratulations. Thanks a lot, you guys, for making this channel what it is. I put out the videos. You are the ones who are supporting it and who are making this channel what it is right now. And well, I simply don't have enough words to say thank you, and to say just to show how much thankful I am for the support I'm receiving, the feedback I'm receiving, and well, just for how well this is going. There's still a little bit of gameplay going on, so I leave it on until the game's end. But this is it. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you later.